At the beginning of the story, we get to learn that for the nobles, the attribute skill of magic is very important. So, it is not an exception for our main character Crow's family too. The House of Eldorado counts. However, being the second son, his skills are not very useful according to others. Following that, we see Crow was at a church and he was accepting his power. The father of the church then said that now he will announce his skills. At this point of time, Crow's heart was racing like crazy. Then the father told him that appraisal and alchemy are his skills. Hearing that, Crow, as well as everyone there, was a bit puzzled. Then the story takes us several hours prior, where we get to see Crow and their family's head butler Sebastian on their way to the royal capital Hellfire Church in Exiled, where he was supposedly going to get to learn about his skills. Suddenly then, Sebastian checked on Crow by saying if his headache was gone now, to which he replied he was absolutely fine. Sebastian then let him know that, as soon as they arrive at the royal capital, they will head towards the Elder Church. Learning that, Crow said he understood that, but then again he asked Sebastian what about his father. In response to that, he replied that the Lord Pheasant is actually waiting at the front of the church. Though we see Crow was asking himself if that was really happening, and at this point of time he was so excited that his heart was beating like crazy. Moments later, we learn that in their world, when a boy becomes 12 years old, he receives a skill at the church. A skill is a magical ability that resides within a person. Just saying magical abilities doesn't narrow it down, as there are all sorts of different kinds. As a child of nobility like Crow, he dreams to protect his kingdom and his territory. So, he was expecting to obtain a skill with high offensive power. Then we learn that, as far as magic attacks are concerned, there are 4 types of attributes. Fire attribute, wind attribute, water and earth attribute. These are known as the 4 greatest attributes of magic. Crow's elder brother Hawk, the eldest son of the Eldorado County family, possesses a powerful fire attribute magic skill, and even at the magic school, he is said to be the prodigy. Crow's second older brother Owl is honored with a swordsmanship that utilizes wind attribute psychical enhancement magic. He himself won the youth swordsmanship tournament. Therefore, Crow was thinking, due to his family line, he too needs to have a skill for one of the 4 great attributes. Then Sebastian told him that the royal capital is in sight. Seeing that, Crow was mesmerized, and he thought that it's a really magnificent city, as befits the royal capital. As he entered the church, Crow wondered, what kind of magic skill will he be granted in this place? At this time, he was swelling with anticipation. Then, he learned that it was appraisal and alchemy. Back in the present time, hearing that, his father was absolutely heartbroken. So, he said that this was an absolutely useless skill. Therefore, Crow's father requested the Lord Priest to keep this matter quiet, and gave him money. Hearing that, it seems to Crow that he was granted a ridiculously shameful skill, but in his mind he thought that it wasn't that bad of a skill. After that, Crow's father left the place by saying that he has some business in the royal capital city. Then, Sebastian went up to Crow and told him that they should now return to their territory. As they were returning home, Sebastian told Crow that he was sorry to hear about his skills. But young Master Crow didn't react in the way that Sebastian was expecting. In Crow's mind, he was thinking that now that all this happened, he is different from his siblings. Then he told Sebastian he is behaving normally because now he has knowledge from when he lived as a Japanese man in his past life. Following that, he specified that, before they reached the royal capital city, he was hit with a bad headache for unknown causes. At that time, he regained his memories from before his reincarnation, and according to him, his mental age also suddenly increased. So, now for someone like him, these skills don't seem like a disadvantage to him. Because being able to know the correct information and value is extremely convenient, which is a part of the appraisal skill. As far as alchemy is concerned, by combining and mixing various things, it creates different substances. It is basically considered a skill for creating positions. It is possible to change matters through exchange with magical energy. Moments later, Crow said something just popped into his head. There are plenty of ways to use these skills. For example, he said like estate management. Following that, he again told Sebastian that he was not good to be a noble protecting his county. But, as a small lord running his village, he wants to contribute to his house of Eldorado. Hearing Crow's thought process, Sebastian was astonished. Then Crow asked Sebastian that for that purpose, if he will be able to help him with something. In response, Sebastian told him that to think that far in this situation is magnificent, and he said yes. Hearing that, Crow thanked him with a smile. Then, a month later, at the Capital Territory Bird's garden, Crow was standing in front of his father with Sebastian. Following that, we see Crow's father then went on to say, as a result of the other day, it is sudden. But, for now, he says that he was put in charge of governing the nest village on the outskirts of the territory. There we get to learn that Crow was actually prepared for this, because he knows that the next village is a pretty remote area. Crow then bowed his head and told his father that he understood. Seeing that, his father says that he was surprisingly obedient. Crow then responds to that by saying that it's because he wants to dedicate his life to his domain. He then further goes on to say that he is grateful to his father because he made arrangements for him to be able to live within the domain. Following that, he says that he will try to make the most of the skills that he has been granted. Hearing that, his father was very obliged by his obedience. Afterward, his father told him that the village that he was going to is surrounded by monsters, and that the demon forest is actually nearby the village. He then further goes on to say that it is a fairly dangerous area. So, he is sending his older brother Owl with him, and he is going to be around for a while. Hearing that, Crow asked his brother if he was going to be with him for real, to which he responded by saying yes and that he will be a great trainer of his. Crow, on the other hand, told his elder brother that being trained like a child is annoying, but he is really glad that he will be with him. Following that, the day of departure came, and everything and everyone was ready to see off Crow and his elder brother Owl. As he was loading up the baggage to the cart, Crow was thinking that he sure has a lot of luggages. But all of those are necessary. As he and Owl were having this conversation, we can see that Sebastian and Crow's eldest brother Hawk were there too. Hawk then wished Crow best of luck. In response, Crow told him that it was very kind of him to come and see him off. Following that, Hawk brought a gift for Crow. As he sees the gift, he discovers that it was some expensive crimson magic stones. Crow was astonished to see that. Hawk then told Crow that he should be using those in any trouble situations. He then appreciated his father also for seeing him off. Afterward, Crow thanked Sebastian for everything that he has done for him, and then told him that he will meet him, and until next time it was goodbye from his side. Sebastian then told him no, because he will also accompany him as well. Hearing that, Crow was absolutely flabbergasted. Following that, Sebastian told him that he has grown a lot in this 1 month, and that he is really proud to see that. On top of that, seeing his departing face makes him want to devote the rest of his life to Crow's service. Crow then again thanked him and said that he swore that he will manage the territory properly. Then they all say goodbye to each other, and Hawk there said that he is sure that Crow will be successful. On top of that, he told Sebastian that he entrusted Crow to him, to which he said there is nothing to worry about that matter. Then, Sebastian told Crow that it will take a week to reach their destination next village, and off they go. This is the beginning of the story of our beloved Crow Eldorado. As he was leaving, Crow's father started crying, and seeing that he started thinking if he actually ended up with such bad skills. After that, Crow was almost about to reach the next village, and there he was thinking that there was not much time left for him to reach the village. The journey has progressed pretty smoothly so far, but there were a few unexpected things that had happened along the way too. Like, they have actually passed merchants, and they were also in a bandit attack also. All this time, Crow was practicing his alchemy non-stop along the way. There, we learn that he puts his skills to the test and fights bravely, and he also saves the merchant's life. As he was thinking all these things, he saw 3 guys coming in his direction. Those people then told him that he and his fellows had arrived at the right place. Following that, they started introducing themselves. There were 3 guys. The name of the leader is Yord, and he was a B-ranked adventurer. Then the other was an archer named Nursus, and the 3rd guy was also an archer named Safer, and they arrived to receive Crow and his mates. Afterward, we get to know that they have planned to stay for a while with them. Moments later, Crow was thinking about the next village, what kind of place this might be. As they went ahead, Crow and his mates were absolutely stunned to see how remote the village was. Sebastian then told Crow This place was more run down than they had thought it to be. Afterward, Sebastian told everyone to go inside and have a look at it. Then suddenly, they saw there was someone on the roof, and he was aiming at something with a bow and arrows. Then they realized that the guy was aiming at some wild fangs, and they were D-ranked monsters. Seeing that, Crow said to himself that the village was already in a crisis situation already. They then made a strategy to defeat these monsters. As they were doing so, Sebastian told everyone that he is afraid that this situation could be dangerous for Crow. Hearing that, Owl told him that he will take care of Crow, and that Sebastian shouldn't be worrying about that. Besides that, he told Sebastian that he himself told Owl how skilled he was when he was battling with the bandits. So there is nothing to worry about Crow. Following that, Crow told his allies that they need to draw the Wild Fang's attention towards them. Hearing that, one of the guys said that in this case he will do that with his magic. Following that, we can see with the guy's magic he makes some noise, which causes the fangs to turn their attention to Crow and his mates. Seeing this, Crow screamed that here they come. The fangs were about to attack one of Crow's mates, but Crow's quick thinking and awareness of the situation saved him, because he made a clay wall there to save him. Seeing that, they thanked Crow for his quick thinking. There we get to know that the clay wall that Crow made was with the power of alchemy. Alchemy actually helps creating things with equipment exchange. For example, if an exchange between gold and silver is 1 to 15, then one can exchange 1 kilogram of gold with 15 kilograms of silver with the help of alchemy. Basically, it is thought that it combines substance. Now, we should have a look at the discrimination of alchemy that came with the appraisal skill, and magical energy is also a material for equipment exchange. So, by fussing magical energy with matter, one can freely transform it. Depending on how one does it, one can easily transmute magic. With that being said, Crow is able to understand the true value of alchemy. But other skills didn't know it, so according to Crow, that's why Crow thinks this kind of versatile skill is treated as an unfavorable skill. They started to fight with the fangs like crazy. But for a moment, we see that Owl and Sebastian fall back for a moment, which results in the left-out fangs starting attacking with more force. This actually makes Crow a little stunned. But the guy who was already there thought that it was his chance to get all those monsters with his attack, and did so. Seeing the results, Crow and his mate were all astonished. Then, Sebastian said that to catch all the wild fangs with one fell swoop shows tremendous power. In response to that, Crow said he was surprised too. Following that, Crow further goes on to say that it's an earth needle of the beginning level, and that the earth magic is strong. And with these numbers of spikes, he thinks that it's on par with the intermediate earth magic ground needle. So, Crow and his mates were absolutely stunned that this guy was able to create something that powerful. The guy then thanked Crow and his mates, and introduced himself. His name is Wagner, and he is the head of the next village. In response, Sebastian said that he is Sebastian, and he is the head butler of the Eldorado family. He then further goes on to state that, from now on, the Nest village will be ruled by the third son of the Eldorado family, Crow. The guy then told Crow that he actually came out of his way to come to this village, because it is an integral part of the Eldorado's territory. Hearing that, Crow shook Wagner's hand and told him that he is here to make this land more prosperous, and that he felt really nice to meet someone like Wagner. After that, Wagner took to visit the village. After seeing all the houses of the village, Crow thought that the houses were more run down than he had imagined. Therefore, he was getting only bad vibes out of the places. So, he decided that he will have to make the village's personal safety and houses his first priority no matter what. Crow then asked Wagner if the wild fangs attacked the village often. He replied by saying no. Then he further adds that originally the monsters of the cursed preferred to stay within the forest. But it seems to Wagner that all birds have been appearing in large numbers recently. As if being chased out, the wild fangs also started to come out of the forest. Following that, we also get to learn that the birds are monstrous birds that can't fly, and they are low-ranked monsters who live on the outermost part of the cursed forest, and they are ranked E. Hearing that, Crow thought that something must be going on there, therefore he asked Owl and Swift Archer to investigate the forest starting tomorrow. For the village's safety, Sebastian will defend the village with the hunters. Sebastian, on the other hand, told Crow to take rest, because he used a lot of magic and that he must be tired. Hearing that, Crow said it was not the time to rest, because there is still more to be done. As he said that, suddenly a crow built a giant wall out of nowhere. Following that, he said that he'll need to build some more earth walls like this, so monsters won't be able to get in. Seeing that, all the other guys were stunned. Even after firing a ground needle, Crow can still use magic, because normally one would run out of magic. Hearing that, Crow said now that he has mentioned it, he was practicing magic every day. But he never once ran out of it. All the people there thought that this was really unusual. Sebastian then said that the speed that they are working with, they will be done before the sun sets. Following that, Sebastian asked should he make some food. On top of that, Sebastian said that Crow never missed a chance to surprise him. Crow first started building new houses for the village. And as Wagner saw the new houses, he was absolutely stunned. Wagner and Sebastian then asked Crow how could build such a wonderful house so quickly. To which he replied that he used his skills to build it and all the walls are earth walls. Following that, Crow told Sebastian and Wagner that he will explain the inside of the house too. As they entered the house, he showed everyone how he built all the interior like kitchen and living room, and the bedroom too. These were all made possible because of his alchemy and earth wall. Then as they went out of the house, all the people were shocked, because there was a building in front of the house. Everyone there asked whose building was, to which Crow told everyone that it was his house and he himself built it, and it is on whim and it ended up looking like a condominium. Wagner and Sebastian then were saying to each other that earth magic is that convenient. To which Sebastian himself thought that maybe his young master Crow is an incredible magician. Following that, Crow told his allies that now they will go to the central square next. He told everyone that the reason for that is he wants the square to be a relaxing place for the villages. To do that, he wants to make it enjoyable for the children too. As he was saying all this, Crow saw a bunch of kids who were playing there. So there he decided to make a slide for them. The kids were mesmerized to see that, and one of the kids there asked Crow what was that. To which he replied that it was a slide for them. The Crow further goes on to say that they should go back up by the stairs and slide down on this ramp. Everyone was so happy at this point of time, and before Crow knew it, the old man Wagner was also on the slide. On the other hand, Sebastian says to Crow that his idea for the slide was great. Hearing that, Crow thanked Sebastian and said that he shouldn't take that much credit. After that, Sebastian told Crow that it was about time that Owl and the others returned. Hearing that, that's right, and that they have gone to the trouble of setting up the plaza, so now he has something in his mind for dinner time. As time passes by, we can see that Crow has created a great place for the village people to eat. Meanwhile, we can see that everyone is back. There, Crow told mate that it's a big catch. His mate then asked him if all of these were from the railbird, to which he said yes. Then Crow showed him food arrangements and asked if this much would be all right for the villagers, to which he said yes. Following that, Crow's mate asked Sebastian if arranged the barbecue facility, to which he replied by saying yes. Then he further goes on to say that if anyone closes the lid in the middle, then it becomes an ordinary table. After a while, Sebastian came to Crow and Owl and gave them Ralibird's yakitori to eat. Both the brothers find it very tasty and spicy at the same time. Following that, Crow asked Owl if he had brought what he had asked him to bring, to which he said yes. Hearing that, Crow thanked him. As Crow took a look at it, he saw that all the elimination that he wanted was present there. Therefore, he thought that with all these things, it would be easier for him to move forward with the plan, and that the territorial reform is really making progress. But at the same time, he did things that needed to be done. But they were making steady progress in a good direction, and he was looking forward to what comes next. Meanwhile, located at the east of the Eldorado family's territory, there is a family named the Rumbling Viscount family. A butler came into the room of Ms. Rose, and he gave him a letter, which was sent by the Eldorado family. Rose got very excited hearing that, and she said, it seems to her that Lord Crow has set out on a journey to the borderlands. So, she asked her bee to tell more about this matter, and she was very excited about this matter. In the next scene, we see Sebastian and Crow are at the Nest Village's farming plaza, and they were worried about the mess that the Wildfangs did to the food. They were suspecting that, with this much food, the village people won't be able to survive the winter. Sebastian, on the other hand, was doubting that even the amount of wheat that they got for the Seb's Eldorado family will be enough. Hearing that, Crow said they need to do something about this quickly. Following that, Crow asked Wagner that other than wheat, if there are any other crops that they are growing. To which, he responded by saying in the best village they also grow pearl millet, and it's a crop that grows easily in the dry soil too. Hearing that, Crow asked Sebastian if he could ask him something, and he agreed. Then Crow whispered some in Sebastian's ear. Then suddenly, Crow said very excitedly that they should stop growing pearl millet, and instead start growing herbs like healing grass or something. Hearing that, the village people were stunned, and went on to say that, if they fail then they all will starve. In response to that, Crow assured them that he will still want to grow some wheat too. Following that, Crow asks Sebastian how much they sell the corn for to the merchant. Sebastian replies about 100 gil apiece maybe. Crow then further goes on to ask then what about the healing grass. Sebastian calculated for a bit and then said, they will probably buy a bundle of healing grass for 300 gil. Crow then said that from now on they will sell crops that are worth money. Owl agrees with Crow, then also said he also has a buyer lined up. After that, Crow said he is an alchemist, and that he will make medicinal herbs to make patterns that can be sold for tens of thousands of gil apiece. Hearing that, all the villagers were absolutely shocked. Wagner then asked if he would be able to grow healing herbs in a land like this. To which, he said yes, he will first infuse the field with magical power. Following that, he further says that medical herbs can be gathered in a land inhabited by monsters. Crow then again said, maybe it is because the excrement and urine of monsters contain a bit of magical power. Then, he said as expected, when he analyzed the soil where the medicinal herbs grew, it contained magical power. Suddenly, Crow thought for a minute and started wondering what would happen if he infused ordinary plants with medical power. Then he put his magical power in his hands and put his hand into the field and thought, for example, these withered wheat fields. Then, with the power of a transsimulator, the field started growing in a second, and everyone was astonished. Following that, he said with this rate he will be able to revive the other fields too. Seeing this, all the villagers had one word, and it was miraculous. Crow, on the other hand, was thinking that with this, he understood that he can grow medicinal herbs too. They all then decide that they will work together to grow medicinal herbs. Following that, we see the area of medicinal herbs has expanded to twice the size. Now, they can make pottons on a regular basis. If they can make a specialty of the nest village, it would be great. Afterward, Owl brought many eggs. So Crow asked Owl where he got so many eggs. To which, he asked Crow to listen to him and asked him not to be surprised. Afterward, he told Crow that lyrebirds get relaxed when they eat healing grass. He then told him that he was investigating the Devil's Forest and found a flock of lyrebards. At this time, Owl saw that they were eating healing grass and at the same time laying eggs. Then he came to the conclusion that maybe lyrebirds lay eggs when they are relaxed. Hearing that, Crow also said maybe they do. Then one of Crow's mates there told him that it might be hard to believe that that is the truth. Moreover, he further goes on to say that the lyrebirds relax so much that they fall asleep. At this time it is easy to collect as many eggs as one wants, and lyrebirds' eggs are very delicious. Crow then said that once he had a sandwich in the royal capital, and it was incredibly delicious, and according to him he just couldn't stop eating them. But still, he thought that it would be great if he could eat such delicious eggs whenever he wants. Then he said that he had something to discuss with everyone. The next morning, a lyrebird that Owl had brought has laid an egg. Seeing this, everyone was really happy, and one of them said that the bird's eyes look so lifeless, but it is incredibly relaxed. Following that, Owl told Crow that he did it, and that now they can have delicious eggs every day. To which he said yes, and that he was just about to make some healing grass. So this is perfect. Then we get to know that this morning Crow went to visit the demon forest with Owl to capture a female lyrebird. Sebastian wasn't really happy about this because Crow himself went to the demon forest. Following that, we get to know that Crow actually created this breeding facility with alchemy. So much so, that he even spread straw around to make the environment comfortable. Next up, Crow said that he was thinking of asking someone to look after the lyrebirds. As he said that, suddenly a guy came out of nowhere and said, in that case he will look after them. Hearing that, Crow asked him who he was. To which he said that his name is Kentucky. Crow then told him that okay, but he can't eat the rallabirds here, and asked them to hand over the birds. Seeing the birds, Kentucky asked Crow if this is what he thinks it is. Crow said yes. After that, Kentucky looks at the birds and says the eyes are a bit much, but overall he finds them quite cute. On the other hand, we see a guy in a horse cart thanking Rose for being his escort. But then again he made sure that she was really okay with that. To which she responded by saying that she is absolutely fine, and that she came here to train after all, and that it would have been boring if she stayed at home. All of a sudden, the house started screaming like crazy, and inside the cart, Rose and the guy were confused. So they asked the rider if there was anything wrong. The guy told them that there was a monster in their way, to which he was stunned that they haven't come near the crushed forest yet. Then he asked Lady Rose what should do now. Hearing that, Rose came out of the cart and she started to fight the monsters, and one by one we can see her taking them all. On the other side, Crow was in the fields, and he was thinking about how many monsters have been caught in the traps. Because the materials from the wild fangs can be sold for a high price. So that's why they had to put traps all over the crushed forest, and also they can examine them too. As Crow was talking with his mate about the wild fangs, one of Crow's mates heard someone calling Crow from far away. Therefore, he told Crow that some are calling him from there. Hearing the voice, Crow was quite certain that it was Rose, who was calling him from there. There Rose came and said the wild fangs aren't that impressive. Hearing that, the Crow was stunned, and he asked her what she was doing at this place. In response to that, she said it had been a while since she saw Crow. There we can see that she was Rose Rumbling, the eldest daughter of Viscount Rumbling family, and Crow's childhood friend. Like Owl, she is also honored with swordsmanship, and she wished to be a knight. Rose is a battle freak. She loves to fight. Crow then welcomes her and the guy named Stuart to the Nest Village. Stuart is a merchant employed by the Eldorado family, and he was also leader of a merchant caravan that travels around the Bird's Garden and Royal Capital. Following that, we learn that the caravan that he rescued from bandits on his way to the Nest Village, that van's owner is Stuart. So, as a goodwill gesture, Crow asked Stuart to visit the village regularly. Crow then thanked Stuart for going through all these troubles for him, and he also thanked him for giving Rose a ride to the village too. Hearing that, Stuart said that it was not a problem. In fact, he thanked him. Because, according to him, it was because of Crow that he was able to get here. After that, upon seeing the process of the village, Stuart was absolutely astonished. And he said that he couldn't believe himself, and asked if he was dreaming. He has heard that it was a poor and cold village that has so many people. Crow said that he heard that right. Crow then further goes on to say, it has been a month since he had come to this village. Since then, the field has expanded and people have been working energetically. Following that, he said he himself spent almost the entire month on civil engineering work. As a result, they are able to draw water from the Ugrit River, which flows from the Kyrgyz mountains. So, now they have secured water for drinking and living. They are digging a waterway for about 10 kilometers, and solidifying the ground was really exhausting. Then, Crow took Stuart to the place that stores materials for sale. It was an underground warehouse, and seeing that, Stuart was over the moon. Crow then told him that potion quality is better preserved if it's stored in a place with a constant temperature and humidity. And he also told them that they also store monster materials and goods here. Stuart then asked Crow if he would like to sell them the recovery potion, monster materials, and processed goods. Crow then said that's right, and the rank of the recovered potion is that there are 3 ranked potions. 120B ranked potions. Hearing that, Stuart was absolutely flabbergasted that he has a rank as high as 3, and according to him, it is hard to believe at first glance. He then further elaborates that there are 3 ranks of recovered potions A, B, and C. The ones commonly available are C-ranked. They are expensive and have the effect of stopping bleeding and slightly restoring vitality. Whereas B-rank potions not only stops bleeding, but also have the effect of healing wounds and significantly restore vitality. They are quite expensive, so that's why they are often used by nobles and high-ranked adventurers. Then, we get to learn a ranked potion that is rarely available on the market. So, it seems that there are only a few available to the royal family and ducal houses. They are said to be incredible items that can cure the loss of limbs and recover from difficult illnesses. And to think that such a rare item can be made in such a remote region, it's no wonder Stuart can't believe it. Then Stuart asked Crow if he would test these, to which he said sure. Then he started testing it with the B ranked and the color changed to orange. Following that, he tested a rank 1 and it changed to rainbow color. So Stuart was surprised because both of them seemed to be the real deal. Crow then told Stuart that he has already tested it with his alchemy skills. Then he asked Stuart if he could leave the rest of the transaction to Sebastian, and Stuart agreed to that. Then, as he came out of the underground, Crow saw that Rose was already getting along with the kid well, and he was glad to see that they were enjoying themselves. Following that, as Rose saw Crow, she asked him what was going on. She then further goes on to state that the person who built this playground was an absolute genius. Hearing that, the kid then told her that Crow himself built this playground, and not only that, the kid also said the walls, the houses, everything was built by Crow. Hearing that, a stunned Rose then asked Crow if that statement was true, to which Crow agreed. We then see she couldn't believe that with alchemy skills one can do all this. She then further adds that this kind of defensive setup is not normal for an ordinary villager. Crow responded to that by saying maybe, and then he offered Rose to show her the house. As she saw the house, Rise was absolutely astonished, and she said to herself that this was also built by Crow. Afterward, Rose told Crow that at first she was a bit worried when she heard about the skills that Crow had imbibed and that he left the house. Hearing that, Crow said thanks for her concern, but he was not worried at all, because he had an older brother at his El Dorado house. Then he said that he will do what he can, and as he said so, we can see that he was really happy. Rose then told Crow that he has changed a bit since she last saw him. Crow then asked what kind of skills Rose received just to change the mood, to which Rose said that she is glad that he has asked this question to Lady Rose. She then revealed that she has got physical support skills for wind attribute magic, just like Owl. She then said that she actually came because she wanted to learn how to use wind attribute magic. Hearing that, Crow understood that this skill was actually perfect for battle-crazy Rose. Following that, he says he is just glad to see her happy. After a bit of chit-chat, Crow asked Rose if she was tired from the journey. Therefore, he asked her to take a bath to heal her fatigue. Hearing that, we can see Rose was stunned that this village also has a bath and she actually finds it amazing. Hearing that, Crow says that it is only in his house for now. After that, it was a welcome for Rose, combined with an exchange meeting with the caravan. Following that, we got to see that they were having a barbecue party at the plaza. Suddenly, Sebastian came to Crow and said that the deal with Stuart was settled, and he gave him all the settlement details. As Crow saw the details, he was a bit stunned. Following that, Crow says even if they sold a rank potion, they have brought a large quantity of ingredients. To which Sebastian told Crow that the monster materials and their processed products sold for higher than they expected. Especially, the Rallibird's feather duvets and pillows were sold for a higher price. Crow then said that the quality is really good, and it looks like he can sell it as a high-class product to the nobles. After that, he asked Sebastian what about that food they had bought. To which he said yes, that he has bought a large quantity of wheat and tomatoes from the Red Village, and also cheese, butter and dairy products have been bought from the Ragnar village. Seeing this, Crow was really happy and said that the tomato will be made into sauce and the dairy products will be stored in the underground warehouse. And that with these ingredients, they will be able to make whatever they want. Then we see that the food was being prepared and they have made Crow's favorite pizza. As he was eating it, we saw that he found it delicious. Following that, he thought that he had never in a million years thought that he could eat a pizza like that in this part of the world. After that, we get to learn that he built this pizza oven a while ago, and that a month of civil engineering experience is actually coming very handy to him. As he was thinking about all these things, some kids came and asked him what was that thing. They were referring to the pizza oven, but they thought that it was something that they could play with. Crow then told them that this was called a pizza oven, and that it is for making pizza. Following that, he instructed them not to touch it because it could be dangerous. They didn't understand and asked if pizza was dangerous or something. To which he said yes and then asked them to bring their friends along with them. Hearing that, the kids say they got it and that they will bring them along. Then, Stuart says that he wants some of the pizza too. Following that, Wagner too wants some of the pizza. Then the kids also brought their friends. Crow then asked everyone to line up first. The kids then revealed that they had brought one friend, and it was none other than Rose. She then said that he heard that the pizza was delicious. Crow then started surviving the pizza like a noble, and everyone was really happy at this point of time. The next day, Crow was called by Carrie Sky because he wanted to report something. Crow then went to him and asked what was the reason that Carrie Sky called him here. To which he said he is here in the cursed forest for on-site inspection. He then told Lord Crow that lately the number of wild fangs caught in traps has increased. He then said that he thinks it is because the number of rallybirds that become bait for the one they caught has decreased. So this way the wild fangs will stop following the rallybirds approaching the village, so they will be able to obtain more materials and sell them, so it is a win-win situation. Following that, he asked if they could go and check out the rallybirds' traps next. Then we get to learn that the rallybirds' traps contain healing grass. So once the container weight exceeds, in other words, once a certain number of the rallybirds are in the trap, the entrance closes, and the rallybirds can no longer escape. Following that, Carrie Sky asked Crow whether he should start collecting them now. Crow agreed to that by asking him to go ahead. Following that, as they were collecting the rallybirds, Crow asked if there was a wild fong in the trap. To which, Carrie Sky says that he has never seen a monster like this ever. But he then further goes on to say that it appears to be still young, judging by its appearance. Crow then had a good look at it and then said he actually knows what it is. Then he revealed that this is a monster named Lavini Fong. Everyone there was stunned to hear that name. One of the mates of Crow then said that he had heard of this at the guild. It is a legendary ice wolf, and those who have seen it are said to never return alive. Everyone there was stunned to hear about this terrifying monster. Crow, on the other hand, was thinking that if it was a baby, the appraisal said, it is said to give birth to its duplicate when it's no more. So that might mean that its parents lost their lives nearby. Then he said that even if he set it free, it would probably have a hard time surviving, and even if it managed to survive, it would likely grow up to be a dangerous creature. Crow then decided that he will take it to the nest village anyways. Hearing that, Carrie Sky said that it's a ranked monster, and that he shouldn't have done that. Crow then said he knows it. Following that, he said he will consult with Sebastian before taking his decision. But still he wonders why in the first place he came to the cursed forest, and it seems it's territory somewhere with snow. So he guessed that he came to the Kyrgyz mountains. Then everyone says that they can avoid killing it. As they arrived at the village, everyone was stunned. There was a huge, lifeless monster lying on the ground. Crow then asked what in the world is that demon's corpse. The owl then said that he found this in the forest just now, and he thought that it could be a good material. So he bought it here by carriage. Crow thought that, judging by the situation, this could be the kid parent. Sebastian then asked if he was talking about the one that was in his arms. To which he says that it's a baby Levine Fong. Sebastian then asked Crow if the kid Fong was the kid of the legendary giant wolf's kid, to which he said yes. Crow then further goes on to say that for better or for worse they just can't leave it be, and if possible he would like to raise it in this village. Sebastian then told him that he would have to report this to Crow's father. Hearing that, Crow says why. To which he replied it's a wild monster that will be ranked in the future. So about this baby's future and also how they were going to handle it, he says it is even possible that this decision will be left to Crow's father or the Majesty's king. Crow was stunned that it has become such a big deal. He says rallybirds are monsters, but is it really okay to raise them? To which Sebastian told him that rallybirds are E-ranked and these giant monster wolves are ranked, so there is a difference. As they were having this conversation, the Fong jumped out of Crow arms and went towards Kentucky, who was eating meat. The Fong goes there and starts eating the meat. Seeing this, Crow says what's all the hurry about, and that this Kuro can't eat calmly. Rose then arrives there and picks the Kuro wolf up. Following that, she says this swordsman has a sensibility that appreciates fluffy things. After that, she asked what this child was. Crow then told her that it's a red cub from Lavini Fong. Hearing that, she was scared that such a monster was in her arms. Crow then further told her that he found it in the demon forest. Then he also found this child's parent there too, but lifeless. He then said that it's not decided whether it's going to say or not, but he will take care of it for a while. Then, Rose decided to name this cub. She then said since it's a red cub Lavini Fong, she named it Lavi-chan. Crow was also happy with this name. Rose then decided to have food with Lavi-chan, and we learned that he eats a lot. Kentucky then said that they are running out of Rallybird's meat now. Hearing that, Crow was stunned to say the least. The next day, Rose came to the room where Crow and Lavi-chan were sleeping. She then called Crow asking if he was going to sleep all day, because it's already lunchtime. A half-awaked Crow then told her that he actually oversleeps when Sebastian is not around him. Following that, we get to learn that Sebastian went to the bird's garden yesterday with Stuart's carriage to report to his father about Lavi-chan and to talk about the ranked potions too. Crow then told her that Sebastian will return after a month with Stuart's caravan. He then asked Rose why she didn't go with Owl to the demon forest, to which she said that she did want to go, but then she thought that she would take care of Lavi-chan for a while. Crow then says it's okay, and then he will make some lunch, and further goes on to say that he has some work that he needs to do this afternoon. Rose then asked him what work does he have to do today. A moment later, he told her that he will have to build a reservoir. Then he invites Rose to come along if only she is free. She then responded by saying that it sounds fun to her, and that she will definitely come. Besides, she also wants to see Crow's alchemy at work. After that, Crow asked Rose how long she planned to stay at the Nest Village. Rose responded by saying that she will at least stay up until the next swordsmanship tournament. Hearing that, Crow asked her if the tournament is scheduled for next summer. She then said yes, to which Crow told her that she planned on staying there in the Nest Village for nearly a year or so. That is great, and certainly that fact let alone mesmerized Crow. Moments later, Rose compliments Crow by saying that he is very good at making food. Crow replies by saying that having Rose around makes hunting easier. Then we see that the food is ready and they start to eat and enjoy the food. Following that, we see Crow, Wagner, Rose, and Lavi-chan go to the reservoir site. Wagner then thanked Crow for his cooperation and asked to leave, to which Crow replies by saying that it's fine and that he can leave it to him. Hearing all this, a shocked Rose asked if Crow was doing this all alone, and that with an area that vast it's going to be a lengthy project. Crow then said that it's true that this place was quite spacious, but then he asked Rose not to underestimate his alchemy skills. Crow then said let's make a start by digging a hole, and that he decided to make this depth 5 meters and the water edge a meter deep. He did it in a blink of an eye. Rose then told him that she has never seen alchemy skills like this and is really surprised. She then further goes on to say that the speed of it was beyond her imagination. Rise after that asked what Crow was going to do after this. In response, Crow says that he will connect it to the tributary of the river and store water. Once it reaches a certain water level, he will return the water to the tributary, so that it doesn't overflow, and at that time he will connect the drainage facilities. Rose thought that it seemed like a lot of trouble, but now she knows that Crow can do it in an instant. Following that, she says Crow's alchemy skills are too amazing. Furthermore, she thinks that he could even be active in the noble society. To which, he says that he is fine the way he is, and that he likes to see villagers smile more and more. Hearing that, Rose told him that he has really changed a lot. But she likes the Crow she is seeing right now, and she smiled. After that, they stored water in the reservoir and improved the sewage and drainage facilities. Following that, Crow asked if he had changed that much. In response, Rose told her yes, he actually does, and that the old Crow was cheeky. Moments later, Crow says that now the villagers can take a bath in their own homes, and the toilet can now be flushed with water. Following that, we learn that he plans to leave the drainage and sewage treatment to the slimes, because they take in the dirty waters and release clean water. Wagner then told him that it was a great work done by him, and that the sound of the construction was audible from the village. Crow says sorry about that. Wagner then whispers in his ear that it was completed with incident. So, he can rest easy now, and now the villagers can take a bath and flush their toilets, and he further says that really that is the best thing according to him. All of a sudden, Lavi-chan started howling in a weird way, and we can see that he was barking in the crushed forest directions. Crow then pulled out his binoculars and had a good look at the direction that Lavi-chan was barking at. Afterward, Crow says that this is bad, and that could be what he was thinking it was. Crow reveals that he has heard about black buffaloes coming to the cured forest, and judging from the loudness of the footsteps that he can hear, there must be thousands of them. We can see that as the buffaloes entered the forest, they started attacking the other creatures. After that, Crow was thinking that right now the buffaloes are distracted by the monster in the traps. But, according to him, it is now only a matter of time before this huge herd invades the nest village. Following that, Crow asks his mates to listen up, then asks Sypha to first unleash the strongest fire magic that he can. Then he asks Nelson and Yord to take Sypha back to the village when she runs out of magic, and tell Kuro about this as soon as possible. However, he says if the forest burns down, to which he says right now their top priority is to reduce the number of black buffaloes, and also if they unleash a conspicuous magic spell, Kuro and the others will be more likely to notice that something is wrong. Then one of them asked what about Owl? To which he says he will stay in the forest and reduce the number of buffaloes as much as he can. According to him, he has physical enhancement magic, so he won't lose to them in terms of speed. Following that, he asked Kuro to buy them some time, and that he is counting on him to protect the people of the village. Following that, we see Lavi-chan start barking again, and it sounded like battle cry. Crow thought that normally Lavi-chan stays calm, then why was he barking this much? Moments later, Rose asked Crow what was the sound of that explosion just now. To which Crow replies it was the sound of fire magic, and that it must be Sypha who did it. Rose then said that unleashing this much fire magic must mean that the matter is a pretty serious emergency. Crow replies that's true, and that it's better to be in guard. After that, Crow asked Wagner to take a name call of the villagers, to see if anyone was outside of the village. Wagner replied that he understood. Inside, Crow was really worried about what on earth was happening there. As he was thinking that, suddenly a guy told him that Owl was in trouble, and he urged Crow to evacuate the village as immediately as possible. Hearing that, Crow asked why happened and if he was all right. In response, he said if he had to be honest, currently a herd black buffalo was swarming the cursed forest, and Nest Village is in danger if this continues. Crow was stunned to hear about this black buffalo. He then elaborated that it was a cattle-type monster, and that it's a C rank. But, by gathering their rank increases, and this makes them just as hard to defeat. He thinks that now there are over 1,000 and their rank might be a now. Then he further goes on to say that Owl is fighting them alone to hold back the buffaloes. He then said that Owl himself ordered them to inform Crow about this situation. A stunned Rose then says that Lord Owl was buying them time. So now she asked them to get the villagers and escape. Then she looked at Crow, but he wasn't saying anything at all. But in his head he was thinking that it's just as everyone says, a village exists because of its villagers, and that he could rebuild it again. He was thinking that he was definitely okay. But then again he thinks, what about the villagers? He has had his villagers ravaged by the monsters all this time, just when they finally got a safe life. If that's ruined, he himself will be totally crushed this time. Then he thinks, conversely, if he can protect this place, then maybe he can boost the villagers' morals. Following that, Crow orders the swift archer to tell Wagner to have the villagers evacuate to the next village, and that he will be escorting the villagers as the evacuates. Hearing that, he asked Crow what about him, to which Crow replied that he will take on the black buffaloes here. Hearing that, he was absolutely stunned, and then Rose said in that case he will stay here too. Crow looks at her, following that he says that he has received a lot of kindness from the villagers, and that he wants to repay that kindness of the villagers that took care of him. Hearing that, Rose said that this is the village that Crow worked hard to build. So, she won't let the monsters destroy it. Besides, she said that this will seem absurd, that she came all this way to train only to run away from the monsters. A happy Crow then smiles, and then says thanks to Rose, and that he appreciates this gesture. Then he asked Yold that will his grand needle work on the black buffaloes. In response, he told Crow that the black buffalo's hide is very tough. So he is not sure about this. Crow then thinks that if his strongest attack magic doesn't work on them, what should he do? Crow then asked Rose what are the other powerful magics that use earth. She replied that when it comes to earth magic, creating golem is the best. It's said to be able to make a giant move on magic power. Crow said that he has read about it in the picture book. However, One of Crow's mates says that he has heard that this requires high-priced magic stones to control it. Crow then happily said that he does have stones like that after all, followed by Rose asking if it is real. Crow then pulled the magic stones out and replied yes, and showed her that this was the crimson magic stone. Followed by, he said that he got it from Hawk, his older brother, when he left his house, and that he is grateful for this. After that, he further says given Hawk's nature, he must have predicted a situation like this happening to him. Rose then says that she actually didn't think that Crow could pull off something like a golem though. She then wonders if she can make one. Then it would be amazing. Then she asked Crow why he was making it on the ground. To which he said, he was thinking that the soil in the field contains rich magical energy, making it easier to craft. Hearing that, Rose asked if that is how it is. Crow replies yes, but he was not sure, and he then was wondering if this will actually work. Then he thinks it will have to work, and that he has been using his alchemy skills since he really came to this village. More especially when it comes to earth magic, he is quite experienced with it since he has been practicing it the most. He then says that he actually has high-grade red magic stones as materials. Now all that is left is to craft like he always does. Then, Crow closed his eyes and imagined that it was a giant that moves with his own limbs. A giant with arms, legs just like a human, his ultimate golem like he had imagined it. Then we can see that the golem starts crafting. Crow used half of his magical power. He there created a huge golem of his own. Crow and Rose at that time were absolutely stunned to see the golem that Crow had created with his magic. Now, we will have to see if this golem that Crow Eldorado created with some red stones and crimson magic stones with just half of his magical power is able to defend the Nest Village and the villagers and defeat the dangerous black buffaloes, which was destroying the whole forest. Will this golem be able to save Crow, Rose, Owl, and the rest of the villagers? I guess we will find this out in the next part properly. Till that part, let's imagine and hope everything turns out well for Crow, Rose, Owl, the rest of the Eldorado family, and as well as the villagers.